Hey, what's up guys? I'm going to review the new Fire TV Stick 4K Max. So this thing essentially makes your TV into a smart TV, allows you to download certain apps like Netflix, like YouTube, Prime Video obviously, Apple TV, Max, and a whole bunch more. Now some of these do require a subscription and pretty much everything requires internet. Here are the contents of the box. So we have the Fire TV Stick 4K Max right here. And we'll take a closer look at that. We have the extender right here. We have a USB-A to a micro USB. We have a power plug, which is 100 to 240 volts. Output is 5 watts. We get two AAA batteries. We get some instructions, and we get the remote. So here's a closer look at it. So it is powered via micro USB. No other ports other than the HDMI, which goes directly into the TV. And again, you can use this as an extender to help it to fit in tighter spots. Now, let's compare this real quick to the older one from 2021. This is the Fire TV Stick 4K Max from 2 years ago. So essentially the newer one has a faster processor at quad core 2 GHz versus the 1.8 GHz quad core on this. It has a faster GPU at 850 MHz versus the 750 on the older one. And it has double the storage at 16 GB versus 8 GB on this. Granted, not all of that is usable. Some of it is reserved for the operating system and some of it are reserved for some of the apps. And now it supports Wi-Fi 6E. So if you do have a compatible Wi-Fi 6E router versus the Wi-Fi 6 on this, I should say, it can, in theory, have faster internet access. But if you don't have a Wi-Fi 6E router, it is still backwards compatible with other wireless standards. So keep that in mind. And as far as the remote, this is a closer up of it. It does take two AAA batteries on the back right here. And this is the older version that came with this. So a few extra buttons on the newer one, but essentially it's the same thing. Now you can also buy a Luna controller and sign up for the Luna subscription to play cloud games on this, so it is compatible with this. You can also get the Alexa Voice Remote Pro and map it to this as well. So if you want a different controller, you could do that. And in a separate video, I will be comparing the performance of the new Fire TV Stick 4K Max to the latest version of the Fire TV Cube, and we'll talk about the ports and a whole bunch of other stuff. So now that I have it set up on the TV, this is what the interface looks like, and we're going to go over the settings, and I'll go over some of the other stuff as well, but we're going to start with the settings. So if you go to Display and Sounds, and you have parental controls enabled, it will actually ask you for a PIN before you change any of the settings, even to see some of the settings. So if I click on display, this is where you would pick the resolution. Currently it's on auto because I have a 4K TV, it's going to go here, but basically supports 4K up to 60 frames per second, and these are the other options. Okay, so you can set up, color depth up to 12 bits, assuming again your TV and the source itself supports it. And you could calibrate the display. It comes calibrated from me. You can enable HDR, you can do game mode. So pretty much most of the stuff is on auto for me. And then you can, this HDMI CEC allows your remote to control your TV as well, which is nice. And if we go to audio and video diagnostics, this is where it pretty much, assuming it detects this stuff, this is what the Fire TV Stick 4K Max is capable of. So on the left, you can see Dolby Atmos, Digital Plus, all that stuff. And on the right, you see the video quality, so 4K 60, HDR10, even has Dolby Vision and stuff. So here, if I click this, it will show it a sample of just this stuff. So there that is. So basically, obviously very good, very high quality resolution, as you would expect. Okay, so again, if we go back to settings, and we go to preferences, I quickly want to show you guys the parental controls. Again, when I go here, it's going to ask me for a PIN. So if I go to parental controls, it's currently on. I could turn it off. I can PIN protect purchases. So in case you have kids and they're accidentally clicking on a movie, it won't actually purchase it unless there's a PIN. So you could do that. You can set viewing restrictions. You could basically say, oh, for young adults, I can set a lock that if you're watching anything with the 16 plus or TV 14 rating, it's going to ask you for a PIN. Or you could say, you know what, that's fine. I could leave that alone. So we're going to start with the restart test just to show you guys how fast this thing loads. Now, most of the time I don't restart it. It's pretty much always on in kind of sleep mode. And then when I turn on, it's ready to go. But this gives you a pretty good depiction of how fast the processor is. Now, while this is restarting, I quickly want to say that we're going to go over the Silk browser, which gives you a, not the best browsing experience, but in a pinch, I guess you could use it. So we'll do a speed test of that to test Wi-Fi 6E, and I'll show you guys an example of video where we'll fast forward and rewind just to show you guys how fast things load. We'll play a game with Luna, and I'll show you a few other things like Ring cameras can be shown with this, and then you can use, you know, Alexa commands and things of that nature. Okay, so pretty much loaded. So I'm holding down the button. You could tell it's not fully there yet, a tad bit of lag, and it's really just taking a second for things to load. But I mean, overall, I would say visually this is pretty fast. So this thing is pretty much done loading. Noticeably faster than the Fire TV Stick 4K Max that I'm used to. These are your main apps. You can actually organize these. Sometimes it takes a second for it to register that. So if you click on that button, you can right click the menu button, which is on the remote right here, this menu button, if the camera, there it is. So if I hit that options will come up on the right, and I could do move to friend, or I could do move, and I could say, oh, put this here, and then I click OK. I pretty much just select button right here, and then when I go back, sometimes usually it takes like a few seconds to a minute or so, but that will eventually show up here in the order that I placed it. So now let's do a speed test. So in order to do that, I'm going to go to the Silk browser. So I'm going to click on apps and channels, and then I'm going to click on internet, and this opens up Amazon Silk browser, and then typically it opens up with Bing. Now I've already searched speed test, but essentially the way you would do it is you control it with, this is essentially your mouse, and then when you click on stuff, then the keyboard pops up, and then you could type away, and then when you're done, click next, and then you could select anything here. It'll load, and then I'm gonna click on speed test if I can. There it is. Okay. So once I go here, once it loads, which would be nice. Okay. So I'm gonna click continue on the web. I'm gonna click go, and it's gonna find an optimal server, and it's gonna run the speed test. So let's see what we get off Wi-Fi 6E. Now, I do have a compatible mesh system. In fact, I'm running a Wi-Fi 7 mesh system, which is very, very fast. And I also have my Galaxy S23 Ultra right here, which I will do a speed test on, just so you guys have a frame of reference. So we got 165 down. And again, I've done this a few times, but basically I get anywhere from around 150 to about 200. So I'll just run the speed test again, just so you guys know. And then once that's done, I will run it on my Galaxy S23 Ultra, which is also a Wi-Fi 6E device. Again, I'm currently running the Netgear Orbi 970 series, which is a Wi-Fi 7 mesh system, which is absurdly fast. So doing the speed test again, okay, so I got faster this time around. It said 187. So again, I'm pretty much right around the same distance away from the mesh system, and I'm going to do it on my phone, which is a Wi-Fi 6E device, and you could tell I'm getting way faster speeds. In fact, when I did it a little earlier, I was actually getting 1.85 and things like that. So again, you could see it's going crazy fast compared to pretty much just about 10 times as fast as what this thing got. Now, that doesn't mean 187 is bad, because for stuff like this, for the most part, it should be fine. So if I'm trying to watch a movie, I could click on this, or I could open up Netflix and load something from there. So let's click on this so this movie can load. So this is just to give you guys a frame of reference. So loaded fairly quickly, and I will fast forward it, and I'm going to press play randomly. So it takes a couple seconds, and then boom. So now let's open up Netflix. So once you've loaded it once, it opens up very quickly. And let's just say I want to click Grizzly. I want to click play. So pretty fast loading. I'm going to fast forward this. So I'm going to press play. So it's almost instant. Okay, so this one was much faster compared to the other movie. Now let's test out Luna, and I'm gonna fast forward a bit just because it takes a couple seconds for Luna to load with the controller. In fact, that wasn't actually too bad. So let's click on genre, let's click on, I don't know, let's do racing, and let's do World Rally Championships. So this is probably going to take a few seconds, so I'll let this load. I'll fast forward and we'll just cut to the gameplay.
Later.
Okay, so this is pretty much the gameplay. You know, it's not Xbox Series X or PlayStation 5 level of gameplay. But, you know, it's not bad for something that the Fire TV Stick is fairly portable and you could just take with you. And the Luna subscription comes at different levels, and there are a number of games you could play with it as well. Now let's get to the commands you can use via Alexa. So if you hold this blue button, and one cool thing is if you have Ring cameras, while you're holding this, you could say, show front door cam. And what that will do is, assuming you say the correct name of your camera, it will load, and if you hold this button, you can actually talk into it. You can do minimize, and then you could say dismiss picture in picture. And you could do this with pretty much any Ring camera that you have. You can also, with the commands, you can say open Netflix, and it will just open Netflix. So you don't actually have to find that. You could say that, and then, you know, click play, and then you're good to go, essentially. So if you have a TV you want to make into a smart TV, you can do that. You could get this, you know, you get all this stuff with it. Obviously, you need an internet connection, but you could download all these apps. And some of these apps, like obviously Netflix, requires a subscription. The same with Max and Disney Plus. YouTube doesn't require a subscription unless you want YouTube Premium, so you can watch YouTube without ads. So, you know, there are a lot of benefits to this. There's parental controls. You know, there's basically a lot here you can do for the price, and it's also very portable. Not the fastest thing out there in the world, not the best gaming system, but for something so portable that you could take with you, I think it's overall, it's a pretty good device. So with that, thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, smash that subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.